right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A blame game in the wake of a violent holiday weekend in St. Louis.
The city has done everything we can do, but our hands are tied.
New reaction tonight to the mayor's call for stricter gun laws.
We're not going to continue to stand by and do nothing while St. Louis City continues to descend into chaos.
Tonight, a deluge of rain causing rivers to rise and forcing a late night for crews trying to keep water off the roads and out of your home.
That weather impact alert continues tonight as the remnants of Beryl spin away from St. Louis, where the heavier rain is still falling right now, and if it impacts the Wednesday morning commutes.
And we start tonight with that weather impact alert. Several inches of rain has fallen over the last 24 hours, and it's still coming down in parts of the bi-state. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. We have live team coverage of the impact of the heavy rain. We start with Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
You know, we spread out that heavier rain, Kelly, throughout the day today, and that limited the impacts across the bi-state region. We still had nuisance problems with the water, and we've still had flight delays across the middle part of the country because of this system as it continues to lift out. This is the remnants of Beryl lifting now over into Indiana. We're on the backside of this. We're still watching bands of showers as they drift down towards St. Louis tonight, but most of the rain is right along the Mississippi River and then on to the east. And the heaviest rain now has eased on to the northeast of St. Louis by a good stretch. Parts of Jersey, Greene, Macoupin, Montgomery counties here off to the northeast of St. Louis. We still have that flood advisory for about another half hour to hour, depending on where you are. But it's really about midnight when we think we're going to be done with this weather impact alert. The tropical rains are winding down, so less than 1/4 of an inch of additional accumulation. Some of us have seen 3 to 5 inches of rain, but you'll still need to go slow on the roads if you travel overnight. If you're heading out overnight, maybe you get off work in another hour or two. Look at the rainfall tallies over the last 48 hours, really concentrated here along the Merrimack River basin. And that means we're going to see some minor flooding along the Merrimack River as those levels jump up overnight into early tomorrow morning. Mid-60s for lows tonight. The rain coming to an end in St. Louis. And we'll be talking about heat and humidity building back our way as we head towards the weekend in just a few minutes, Kelly.
All right, see you then, Scott. And to get the latest forecast on rain, storms, flooding, and more, just text the word weather to 314-425-5355.
The heavy rainfall is impacting our rivers and storm sewer system. Both the Mississippi and Missouri rivers are on the high side in the St. Louis metro area. 5 on your side's Laura Barcheski is live outside the Metropolitan Sewer District's headquarters, where they have crews staying late. Laura.
Mike, this afternoon, MSD tells me that they only had about 40 calls and they weren't concerned about too many specific areas, but the rivers are a different story.
The constant rain Tuesday kept the Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District busy.
The two big things we'll see there are blocked storm drains or inlets where debris gotten in there and is keeping the water from getting in. We'll clear those out. About half of the time, it's just a low-lying area in the street that doesn't have a drain where water's ponding.
Sean Stone with MSD Project Clear says compared to previous storms, they've had a relatively low number of calls.
There's quite a bit of water, but it's spread out over time, so the system can take that in and handle that amount of water. It's when we get a whole lot all at once and we run out of capacity in the system that you see more issues.
While the sewer system has been able to take it, both the Missouri and Mississippi rivers reached minor flood stage. Lieutenant Eric Kilmeyer with the U.S. Coast Guard says they've asked recreational boaters to stay off the Mississippi in the St. Louis metro area.
If you choose to not adhere to the recreational boating restriction, there will be agencies available to rescue you, but you're putting their lives in danger. And there's simply not enough people to rescue everybody on the river if everyone's going out there.
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says the Missouri crested or reached the highest point for this event and is on the way down, and the Mississippi is on the way to cresting. Kilmeyer says the Mississippi River is moving faster than normal and taking a lot of debris downstream.
The amount of debris in the water is very hazardous, especially if you're in a small john boat or recreational fishing boat. And it's not just the debris that you see on the water, it's the submerged objects underneath the water that pose a significant danger as well.
If you see any significant storm drains clogged or anything clogged in your area, you can call MSD at 314-768-6260. And if you're a boater and you're going to head out on the water, make sure you check the Coast Guard's Facebook page. We'll have a link on KSDK.com. Reporting live in St. Louis, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
And it was too much rain for The Little Mermaid at the St. Louis Muni. Tonight's show was canceled. Ticket holders can get a full refund or exchange for another performance. The Little Mermaid runs through July 16th.
Today's heavy rain fell as some in Jefferson County tried to clean up from yesterday's storm damage. The storms ripped down trees and flooded homes off Indian Spring Road and Valley Middle School. Nobody was injured or trapped by that flooding.
2 communities paying their respects today to an assistant fire chief who died in the line of duty. Firefighters and first responders lined a 100-mile procession from Columbia, Missouri, carrying the body of Boone County Assistant Fire Chief Matt Tobin to his hometown of Union. On Monday, Tobin and a Columbia firefighter worked to rescue 2 people trapped from a tree during flash flooding. Their boat overturned and Tobin never resurfaced. His fellow firefighters say Tobin was well credentialed and trained other firefighters to perform water rescues.
People want to pay tribute to a hero, and that's what Matt was. And he not only helped people here in Union for 19 years, people across the state of Missouri for 12, but across the country. And so if there was somebody that we were going to put on a boat to do that rescue yesterday morning, it was him.
Chief Tobin is survived by his wife, Jacqueline, and 13 and 9-year-old sons.
We're learning new details tonight about a convicted felon who escaped a prison transport in Warren County. Police still looking for Stephen Woodson tonight. Just hours ago, received new court documents revealing the prison transport stopped at a rest stop in Wright City after Woodson's colostomy bag ruptured. He escaped as officers removed restraints to clean him. Woodson was being transported from Nebraska to North Carolina to face charges for violation of a protection order and financial fraud.
New tonight, state lawmakers are reacting to crime in St. Louis and the mayor's calls for the state to toughen gun laws.
It follows ongoing crime concerns in the city, specifically downtown. Our Brent Solomon is live tonight with new reaction from several candidates running for governor. Brent.
Well, when it comes to making the city safer today, Mayor Tashara Jones renewed her calls for state lawmakers to make it tougher to get guns, especially for minors. Well, the other side is saying that's not fair to law-abiding gun owners.
From the 4th of July through Sunday, 24 people were shot in downtown St. Louis. Police seizing 39 guns during that same period.
Well, I think this calls more attention to what the state is not doing. And I'm not trying to pass the buck at all. But what I am saying is that the state created the conditions that we are currently living under. Everybody has access to a gun. And when everybody has access to a gun, that makes our communities less safe.
They're trying to blame firearms. They're trying to blame the police for these problems. It's the failed policies of a regime that just doesn't want to be tough on crime. The answer is we're going to start putting bad guys in jail.
Gubernatorial candidate Bill Eigel wants to triple the highway patrol presence along St. Louis highways.
Do you think there has been an opportunity, a unique opportunity for you, for other lawmakers, whomever, to have said, hey, why don't we do something now? Why don't we get state troopers or, something now to help instead of waiting until later?
Yeah, it's a great question. In fact, Governor Parson could interrupt this interview that we're having right now to do the very things that I'm talking about.
Challenger Jay Ashcroft is calling on the state to retake control of city police, vowing to hire 1,000 new police officers across the state if he becomes governor. Democratic challenger Crystal Quaid saying today, I have met with law enforcement countless times who have begged us to give them the tools they need. As governor, I'll make sure there is more funding for officers and work to allow local communities to pass common sense laws.
Can't be strong as a region or a state if the leaders in St. Louis City don't get their act together.
Our hands are tied because of our lax gun laws and the preemption laws that the state has already passed.
Tonight, Democratic candidate Mike Hammer said, quote, state officials should work with the city of St. Louis to support efforts to fight violent crime. I can tell you, during the violent holiday weekend, police made nearly 40 arrests. Live downtown, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
A big step tonight in silencing celebratory gunfire in Missouri. Today, Governor Mike Parson signed a handful of bills into law, including Blair's Law. It calls for tougher penalties for people who fire guns during celebrations. The law is named after an 11-year-old Kansas City girl who was killed by a stray bullet over the 4th of July holiday in 2011. The governor also signed Valentine's Law, named after fallen St. Louis County Police Detective Antonio Valentine. He was killed in the line of duty in a head-on crash with a stolen car. It calls for stricter penalties for drivers who flee police. Governor Parson also signed changes to the juvenile code, blocking parole for anyone under the age of 18 convicted of both first-degree and second-degree murder. The new law is not expected to impact yesterday's parole hearing for Alyssa Bustamante. The Cole County teen was 15 when she pleaded guilty to the 2009 killing of 9-year-old Elizabeth Olton.
Extra innings tonight for a community group trying to save youth baseball fields in Kirkwood. The city has paused demolition of the old Kirkwood Athletic Association site. The complex off Marshall Road fell into disrepair and financial hardship after flooding from the Merrimack River in 2019. City officials say they're allowing a citizen-led effort more time to come up with the plan to save the fields. Any unsalvageable structures will still be demolished. And you can now play some hoops at Forest Park. Today's rain forced a ribbon cutting indoors of the historic park's first ever basketball courts. There are 2 full courts, 2 half courts with lighting, a shade pavilion, and seating. Another formal dedication will take place Saturday.
St. Louis's only kosher grocery store is closed until further notice. That's according to the website for Cone's Kosher Meat and Deli, located near Olive and Lindbergh in St. Louis County. According to a letter from a kosher inspection service, the store closed last week amid numerous practical and legal issues. The service says it's hopeful of a resolution next week.
All eyes are on the gold.
Get really dialed in and, I don't know that every touch matters.
In their journey to Paris, the U.S. volleyball team is looking to keep history going. Actor Alec Baldwin on trial in the shooting of a cinematographer on set. How much time he faces if found guilty.
Standing water on some roads, especially now in our Illinois counties. We're still in that weather impact alert for a bit longer, and we're tracking the rain out of here and timing the return of heat and humidity to St. Louis.
Leaders from across the globe are in Washington tonight for the NATO summit. The opening ceremony for the summit held at the Andrew W. Mellon Auditorium, where the North Atlantic Treaty was originally signed 75 years ago. The president reaffirmed America's support for Ukraine while also announcing additional air defense systems for that country.
It's a pleasure to host you in this milestone year, to look back with pride at all we've achieved and look ahead to our shared future with strength and with resolve.
The meeting of world leaders comes amid calls for President Biden to drop out of the 2024 election.
Jury selection is underway in the trial of actor Alec Baldwin in New Mexico. Baldwin, who was also an executive producer, is facing involuntary manslaughter for the death of cinema photographer Helena Hutchins on the movie set Rust. The actor fired a prop gun, which had a live round in the chamber. Baldwin claimed he never pulled the trigger and the gun malfunctioned. The gun had been loaded by the production's armorer. She's now serving 18 months in prison. If Baldwin is found guilty, he too could face up to 18 months in jail. We are now 17 days away from the Summer Olympic Games. Members of Team USA are getting ready to head to Paris, including the women on the U.S. indoor volleyball team.
They made history in Tokyo by winning gold for the first time in 60 years. As Matt Renaud shows us in tonight's journey to Paris, they're looking to win back-to-back gold.
Just down the road from monorails and the Magic Kingdom,
Anaheim is an interesting place to be located.
Team USA athletes like Jordan Poulter are hard at work.
We try to maximize the time that we have in the gym.
Balls in all around. In the U.S. indoor volleyball training facility.
It's not super glamorous, but it gets the job done.
Where they might not have the luxury of air conditioning.
In the summer here, it can get up to like 80 degrees, and we're, every time you hit the floor, we got to stop because we got to wipe or else someone's going to slip. We've had plenty of people slip on sweat.
But athletes can work out in the gym, grab a meal, and of course, play some volleyball, all in the same building. while building on success that had these women make history in Tokyo, earning their first ever Olympic gold medal.
Almost 60 years to get the first one, and 13 tries. So they don't happen very often.
Now they're training for the Olympics in Paris.
And we're going for another one.
And head coach Karch Kiraly says even looking at the 2028 Olympics in LA, when this team will compete just blocks
outside
from where they train.
I'm excited for this program, for the possibilities of playing on a home court in an Olympics in 2028.
Giving U.S. athletes like Jordan
get really dialed in and, I don't know that every touch matters.
Some tough training right next to the happiest place on earth.
We do not get a free pass to Disneyland, even though it literally is a stone's throw from here.
Women's indoor volleyball will start competition on July 27th with medal rounds the last 3 days of the games. And you can watch the games right here at 5 on your side starting July 26th. To read more about the Olympics, just text the word Paris to 314-425-5355.
Tonight, the remnants of Hurricane Beryl are headed to the northeast. The deadly storm has already left a path of destruction from the Gulf Coast to the Midwest. 7 people have now died in Texas, where millions remain without power amid a heat wave. The storm also caused a suspected tornado near Evansville, Indiana, causing damage to homes and businesses.
And remnants of Beryl has the bi-state under a weather impact alert tonight. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us now with the latest.
That tropical rain today, you could feel it around St. Louis, just the heavy, drenching rain that was pretty much sustained all afternoon long. Those bigger raindrops, you get that when you get a tropical system that moves over the bi-state area. Usually we get that, at the end of August into September, sometimes early October, not really the beginning of July. Amy shared this picture from Wildwood with 5 inches of rain and her rain gauge. That was a little bit above the average, but most of us in the metro area were around 2 to 3 inches, give or take a little bit. And then there's pockets once you get back into West St. Louis County, down into northern Jefferson County, where we were eclipsing that 4 and 5 inch mark with the rainfall tallies. And there were some other pockets around the region where we had some pretty steady rains as well, in addition to those thunderstorms that were scattered around during the evening hours yesterday. So a lot of rainfall fell. The good news is we stretched it out throughout much of the afternoon into this evening, so that eased the water woes across the region. Busch Stadium dark tonight, but tomorrow they will play a doubleheader over there, and tomorrow's weather will be just fine. This is about the last of any significant rain, and it's only a few hundredths sliding through the St. Louis area right now. More rain is off to the north and east of us, but again, too, this is lifting away. That's the trend we're going to have. So very little in the way of additional rainfall tonight, maybe another 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch, especially on the Illinois side. We've had some standing water issues on some of the low spots on the roads, but we'll get that to drain overnight. So after midnight, we're going to let that weather impact alert expire. But go slow on the roads if you have to be driving out tonight, and especially if you're driving in an area where there's traditionally some water problems and ponding. You want to take it easy. 71 right now. Our high today, only 74 degrees. Almost 2 inches of rain in St. Louis. Think we get a few more hundredths and we'll be over that 2-inch mark. Tonight we're dropping down into the 60s. Tomorrow, well, it's a fine day tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies in the morning, mostly sunny in the afternoon. We could see an isolated shower or thunderstorm bubble up tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night. It looks like the options for that are mostly north of St. Louis, so we're not expecting widespread rain across the region. We'll go into Thursday with still a chance for a shower or thunderstorm, and then we're going to build the heat back in here for the weekend. Mid to upper 90s heading into this weekend. Those heat index values could top 100 degrees by the weekend, maybe a little above. Slim rain chances here for the next couple of days during the afternoon hours mainly, and overnight tomorrow night, and then again with the heat of the afternoon on Thursday. After that, it's all about heat and humidity and a summertime feel going into the upcoming weekend. Don't think we're going to have water problems ongoing tomorrow morning for your commute, as the rain will be out of the area by then.
All right, Scott, thanks. Sports is next with Frank.
Hey everybody, Michelle Lee here. Question for you. How do you like your coffee? Piping hot or chilled with ice? Well, your choice could affect the health benefits of all that caffeine. We're going to take a closer look at your morning kick tomorrow on Today in St. Louis at 6 a.m.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
You know, if you build a house, it's all about the foundation. If you build a college football program, it's all about recruiting. With the house, you stack bricks. With the program, you stack recruiting classes. And Mizzou has never done it better. If Charles Bass picks the Tigers tomorrow at East St. Louis, that would be 4 four-star players in less than a week. The other 3 for Mizzou, offensive tackle Lamont Rogers, wide receiver Javon Boggs, and Donovan Oglogbodi, another wide receiver. I went to an expert today to find out how and why Mizzou is on fire.
Number one, he's proven that he can win a big-time in-state recruiting battle. He did that with both Luther Burden coming out of East St. Louis and with Williams DeMary coming out of Kansas City. So he's done that on both sides of the state. He's also proven that he can win in the SEC. 10 wins last year for the Missouri Tigers in the regular season, punctuated by a bowl win against Ohio State. And then the thing that is the most important to recruits, he's proven that he can take a guy that he recruited, develop him within his program, put him in a position to be successful, and prepare him for the NFL draft.
Fake to Burden, Cook, touchdown! Everybody wants it. Brady Cook says, forget it. I'll handle business myself.
Let's face it, Brady Cook is the straw that stirs the drink for Mizzou. Not necessarily their best player, but their most important one. The quarterback usually is. That's why we drafted Brady Cook to join the 5 on Your Side staff. He will be joining us for Sports Plus. That's at least 12 weeks of hardcore football analysis where he will take us in the huddle, on the field, and in the locker room. He is our first-round pick.
Hey, everyone. It's Brady Cook, quarterback at Mizzou. I'm excited to join Frank Cusimano and the 5 on Your Side team on Sundays each week this season to talk about our games. It's going to be a special season. MIZ.
There are only 2 things that could stop the Cardinals today: great pitching or Mother Nature. We got the latter. The Birds and Royals were rained out today. They will play a twilight doubleheader tomorrow beginning at 12:45. Both teams have identical winning percentages. Hey, I want you to stop what you're doing and watch this. We went to the Gatesworth to see the Hall of Famer Terry Mickler take steps with his prosthetic leg. He couldn't even roll over in his bed 9 months ago, but the 5 times a week physical therapy is working. This 77-year-old with the most wins in high school soccer history with over 1,000 was also told a prosthetic leg would never work for him. It is now. He told me he will be on the practice field at CBC on August 12th, and I asked him how his athletic background has played a role in his remarkable recovery.
You know, I think it plays a big part because there's no quit. You know, I have no quit. I think I got a little bit of grit. Each day is a challenge, and I try to make each day a little bit. If it's just one step better, I try to make it one step better. And if it's a bad day, I know that tomorrow could be a better day. So, yeah, it's a whole lot of what I've been preaching for a long time.
This Saturday night, there's a trivia benefit at CBC. The proceeds will go to help with his medical bills. You can go to the website, gofundterry.com, if you're interested in buying a table or for general admission tickets. The event gets underway at 6 o'clock. You should be there. This guy is unbelievable. It's going to be one of the great moments in St. Louis sports when he's on the sideline for the first time.
Big community behind him.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, Frank. Prime time for deals. The big bargains for gadget lovers 1 week before Amazon Prime Day. A St. Louis watering hole has been named Top Dog, a Top Dog. Bar K was voted Best Dog Bar by USA Today readers. The state-of-the-art dog park in South City includes a bar and restaurant, and it shares the honor with locations in Kansas City and Oklahoma City.
Amazon Prime Day starts 1 week from today. Early deals are already dropping. Right now, Prime members can find some of the year's lowest prices on tech and home gadgets. That includes Apple AirPods, Roombas, and water picks.
Okay, let's get a final check on tonight's weather impact alert.
Yeah, water's kind of a bad word right now because we've seen so much of it with the rainfall today. Upwards of 3 to 5 inches with the heaviest bands, but it was spread out over most of the day. So So as a consequence, we haven't had major flooding problems. It's been more of that nuisance type situation that we've been dealing with. We're still looking at some rain around St. Louis, much lighter than it was, so only a few hundredths. We are getting right at 2 inches officially from Lambert. Your moderate rain, where it's been steadier, is off to the northeast of St. Louis. And those flood advisories are expiring here in the next few minutes off to the northeast of St. Louis. So we don't expect to see additional big-time flooding problems tonight as the rain is winding down. By tomorrow morning, we'll wake up to a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures start in the 60s, but back into the mid-80s tomorrow afternoon. Slim chances tomorrow for any rain. Slim chances tomorrow night into Thursday. There is a chance, but it's fairly low that we'll see some rain. Then the heat builds back in, and temperatures go back into the 90s here for highs with heat index values in the triple digits over the weekend.
So maybe another weather impact alert if it gets
potentially
too hot.
With the heat index values climbing close to 105 early next week.
Wow.
Oh my.
All right, Scott, thanks. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis, and that starts at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.